If you'll excuse me, I need to contemplate.
Start for the stash. Those machines must have torn through this camp. This valley definitely isn't safe. I'll save this for a dyer. This'll be in my stash when I need it. This place has seen better days. Some kind of device. The metal reflects the sun. Send a signal? Looks like some kind of lens. Guess I'll keep it for later. I don't think I can get past them. Guess I should leave it for now. I'll mark this spot in my focus. Come back later. Be careful not to let this stain my hands. Must be chain scrape. Drew said I could get my bow upgraded in there. Might be able to tinker with my other gear, too.
Outlander approaching. Is that the Savior? Wanna come in, Savior? Welcome to Chainscrape, Savior.
Open up, guys. Jor's orders.
Good enough for me.
By the Forge.
Petra?
Aloy, what are you doing here? About time there was something worth looking at in this dump.
It's nice to see you, too.
And not a moment too soon. Come on. Damn brewery's the only thing I can count on in this place.
Yeah, I heard. Machines, work stoppage.
Oh, those are just the latest malfunctions. Chainscrape's always been a few tools short of a kit. And right there is the biggest tool of all.
Our land, not our problem. The bristlebacks are everybody's problem.
Roland?
You've heard of him,
Yeah.
but he's a story best told over a cold beer.
Petra. I'm just passing through.
Oh,
There's an embassy at... I need to make happen, and then I... keep moving.
ah, of course. Bigger gears to grind. Well, Flame Hair, good to see you. You've got to move on.
Petra.
But if you want a cold beer and a few laughs with an old friend, come find me at the brewery. Your choice.
Well, this Olvan guy sounds like trouble. Maybe Petra could use some support. But first things first, I need to find that workbench and upgrade my bow.
I can take her.
I am the smartest man to ever stand exactly.
Best I can do is let you use that workbench.
I get something done if he would stop pestering.
Workbench is free if you need to tinker with that gear.
If you need any help, I should be up early.
Put a sock in it, will you?
That's a mustache. This should be useful. Now I just need to find Erend and help him clear the bristlebacks.
How am I supposed to work with a hammer in this state?
Till Alvin blows that whistle, no one's working it.
If I were a sober man, I would salute you.
Childs laugh while enjoying a good ale.
Drinks later?
And one drink for other me.
One fair and square, you log.
Now,
Then mine will be the death of all of us. I'm telling you.
I take that back. This'll be the.
What happened to you?
That damn mine won't be the last injury if Olvin keeps shoving those tongs into those tunnels.
What mine?
Northeast of Chain Scrape, where the river ends. I told Corvin we should stop when the first cave-in happened, but Olvin probably threatened to cut off.
How about you slow down? You mentioned you were injured in a cave-in.
Yeah, a couple days. Corvin and the others were opening a new vein while I was checking on. As soon as their blast hit, tunnel I might have dodged it if I wasn't running. We were pushing too hard and too fast.
And you're afraid Corvind and the others might not be as
Mm-hmm. Hit the nail right on the head.
How come Olvin's in charge?
Tried telling Olvin that. He brought in all the backing to get him open. Might as well own them. Fire and spit.
Who's Corvind?
He's their foreman. And the kind that knows how to deal with management when it... But Olvind. Corvin's been doing his best to appease. He even blamed himself for my injury when it was Olvin.
Sounds like a good guy.
That's why we all put up with the long hours and lousy. But if the whole mine becomes unstable, I'd rather suffer Olvin's wrath than die buried in rubble.
I could check in on your crew if I'm in the...
Hey, Milda. Milda. I took some of your stew last time I went into the wild. Kept me going for a week. Felt like I could have put a strider in a sleeper hold.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Sounds like you're serving up some impressive provisions here.
Not again. You can have the discount too, but you'll have to come back later.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Oven didn't send you?
No.
Oh, my apologies. Now I've even worn out my special grill. Since I'm in the midst of a crisis, perhaps you could skip to what it is you wanted?
Some of your food?
Of course.
Are Ulvin's people causing you problems?
Oh, yeah. They constantly demand my best, but the equipment I need to make my signature dishes isn't built for batch cooking. And don't get me started on the Ulvin discount.
And if you refuse?
I make meals, not trouble.
How did you end up in Chainscrape?
Heard about a new and upcoming town at the edge of the frontier. Where there's a town, there's a tavern. I was in need of work. So I got myself out here and started cooking. Some of these people had never tasted proper boars and berries stew before. Anyway, next thing I knew, people kept coming back. Guess they liked my food. Or the ale.
Your last customer mentioned your cooking really kept him going out in the wild. Where I'm headed, I could use some of that.
I would be happy to oblige, especially since you have the decency to ask pleasantly. But my special groove griddle is no more. Without it, I can't cook any of my signature dishes. I hate to think what'll happen when I'm forced to refuse Ulvin or his goons. Even if I already had the right ingredients, there's nothing I can do. Unless you can source me a temporary replacement?
What do you need?
For the ingredients, a few pieces of decent wild meat, and I'd say a big handful of bitter leaf stems. That'll do. As for the griddle, a corrugated metal panel might suffice until I can have a new one forged. You'd likely find one in a scrounger pile, if you follow the river to the northeast. Don't worry, I'll clean it first. You'll have no issue finding boars and bitter leaf on your way. Assuming you're as much a hunter-gatherer as your clothing suggests.
Thanks, Mildef. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like.
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
If you say so.
Already got enough meat and bitter leaf. Just need to grab a metal panel from the scrounger pile.
How goes it, Hammerhead? Great to see you.
We are on my drink. The Bristol threaten us all.
Oh, drop the act. We all know it was the Carter who let the bristlebacks into the valley. Sent them straight through the gates of Barren Light.
That is preposterous. Why would we let dangerous machines into our own land?
You mean the land that honest Osram laborers work tirelessly with?
What do you want, Ulvund? Some kind of payment?
My dear magistrate, you think I can be bought? If you want that whistle blown, all you have to do is have your soldiers remove the bristlebacks and sign the concession decree. Face it, what other choice do you have?
Hi.
Savior, what a matter of importance to the Sundom.
Later.
Very well. I shall be waiting.
So, the savior herself. Walloper of Derval, gutter of Hughes.
Maybe.
I've heard many tales of your beauty and heroics, my fierce lady warrior. Ulvund Freeholder, at your service. So, what could have dragged you away from the fine silks and wine of Meridian to this smudge of a settlement? Your saviorly attention must be needed elsewhere.
I'm here for the embassy and—
The embassy? Why, by the forge. Ah. Greater gears for greater matters. Guess that means you'll be moving on.
once I've dealt with any problems around here that need my saviorly attention.
Ah, the bristlebacks, of course. Got to get rid of them if you want that embassy to take place. Well, best get to it, hey? And off you go.
Not so fast. You don't seem to have a high opinion of the magistrate?
Well, I refuse to play nice to some fancy when my fellow laborers are being bullied, intimidated, and taken advantage of.
How noble of you.
Noble, ha! Nobody handed me anything or dropped opportunity. Everything I've achieved, I've done on my own.
And where is this hammer now?
The burden, the Carja risk nothing, while demanding that good Osram gamble with their someone had to step up and say no more.
You ordered the work stoppage?
Indeed I did. We're laborers. Until the Carja clean up their mess and give us the fair deal we deserve, I'm not risking Osram.
Fair deal? You mean your concession decree?
It's not my decree. It's on behalf of all the who do all the back-breaking work, while only the Carja reap the rewards. All we're asking for is the ability to share in this prosperity for a land worked by the people, for the people.
Right. And just how much would be your share?
Only an amount appropriate to my contributions to this community, of course.
Where's the whistle?
Right in the middle of town. But with the threat out there, I'm not endangering...
I'm going to clear out the bristles. And when I'm done...
If that's what it takes. Until then...
Just be ready to blow the whistle.
Still here, I...
Better see what that Carja magistrate wanted. I bet. If chain scrape is on Carja land, shouldn't a Carja be in charge?
The sensibilities of good Osram folk. You think a Carja can head this... Ah! The magistrate can barely make the trek from...
So you have no real authority then? People only follow you...
Anyone who has followers has authority. I mean, I'm practical... And it's honest folk know I'm indispensable.
You said you founded Chainscrape.
Practically founded, I said. I alone saw its potential when it was just a... I invested in the mine, convinced some friends back home to do the same, and here we are. You could say Chainscrape is what it is.
Oh, so you're not just standing around and profiting off everyone else?
Not at all. Sure, I make... But my main priority, as it was from the beginning, is to look after the well-being of these honest, working Osram.
I have other places.
By all means.
You ever wonder if this is worth it?
You wanted to speak to me?
Well, you know better than anyone it's a dangerous world out there, and not just against machines. Name's O'Dirk. This here's my training pit. Best place to practice close combat this side of the Forbidden West. Say, I wonder who'd win in a fight. You, the savior of Meridian, champion of the East, or the Enduring, master of the West.
Who?
The Enduring, a legendary Tenakth spot. I've heard the Tenakth have training pits just like this one. It's how the warriors get so fierce, see? And only the very best from the pits get to train.
So, to find the Enduring, I should look for...
You'll have to go far if you do. The Tenakth are split into 3 clans, 3 capitals, 3 training pits. My guess is you'd have to beat all of them if you want to train with the Enduring. If the Tenakth don't kill you on sight, that is. But that's a far spark in the wind. As for right now, I also offered challenges to test your fighting skill.
Who would I be fighting exactly? You?
Well, I know you're the savior and all, but you have to beat all the others first to challenge me. Rules are rules. We only use dual blades and practice arrows, mind. These drunken fools would run themselves through otherwise. You'll have to leave everything but your spear and practice arrows at the gate. But I'll look after your gear, not to worry. So, what do you say?
I might be.
That's what I like to hear.
Almost ready to go? Hey, I thought you'd left by now.
Side attacks are fast, but easily blocked. Attacks.
Right back at ah, yeah!
Heavy attacks break weapon blocks and do more damage. But they're slow, so your opponents might counterattack.
Yeah! Woo!
Power attacks smash weapon blocks to really hammer an enemy with damage. But they're slow and leave you vulnerable, so pick your moment.
I meant to ask, how did you do in the fighting pit?
I got nothing to tell you. Brother! Been looking!
Ah, Savior! Over here!
Another.
That reminds me.
Oh, Mom!
Savior, thank you for taking the time. And my condolences that you had to endure Ulvund's bloviating.
I've dealt with worse. It sounds like he's really trying to put you over the barrel.
The idea that the Karja purposely let bristlebacks into the Daunt, it's completely absurd. But the louder and longer he says it, the more support he'll get for his damned concession decree.
How did the bristlebacks get into the Daunt?
No one knows for sure. The first report of them came from west of the quarry. But unless they have wings I don't know about, I don't see how they could have come over the mountains.
No other way in.
The only way I know about is barren light. Look, if you can help me shut Ulvund up.
What is this concession decree that Ulvund wants?
He wants the Sundom to designate portions of the Daunt as Oseram holdings. Only the portions, mind you, that produce any value.
Let me guess. Because he stands to profit somehow?
Exactly. With the Daunt under Oseram law, he could secure more investment for their numerous ventures.
He can't get those investments?
No. Not while there's... Hence why the concession is so important to him. And why blaming the Karja for the bristlebacks, no matter how absurd, works in his favor.
How does blaming the Karja for the
Look around. This may be the Sundom, but claiming that the Karja loosed the bristlebacks in order to, well... Let's just say no one here has forgotten. And with the bristlebacks bringing work in the valley to a halt, Ulvund has plenty of time to pick at barely healed wounds.
And if the Oseram refuse to work, unless the
Correct.
How did...
I asked for the overseeing the entire valley on... It was an honor.
But your job would be a lot easier, like Ulvund blasting hot air all the time?
Ulvund's not going anywhere. He's been around longer than I have. Even I'll find a way to live with him. I have to.
You said the bristlebacks were first spotted west of the quarry?
Yes, according to one terrified laborer, said the ground trembled before they came charging down the hillside. He took off and ran all the way here.
Good place to start looking, then.
If you learn the truth, maybe Ulvund will stop blaming the Karja for every problem under the sun, and maybe then he'll actually focus on rebuilding Barren Light instead.
Aloy, change your mind about that brew?
Even the savior of Meridian needs a challenge. Play some strike.
Come for that beer after all, eh? Here, sit down. Get a pint in her hand. Wasn't expecting you to swing by.
Since when do I do what's expected?
Ha! There's that spark. Fire and spit.
Fire and spit.
That's a blast from the bellows. Won't fix the forge, but at least I can forget about my troubles for a while.
Like what?
Take your pick. We got bodies to bury from the bristlebacks, the work stoppage, Ulvund grating the gears about his concession decree. Hey! Weapons off the table! Ah, don't listen to me. Nothing a cold brew and knocking some heads together can't fix eventually.
So about Ulvund.
Around here, everything's about Ulvund.
How'd he end up in charge?
He got here early, like a squirrel smelling a fat nut. He knew rebuilding Barren Light would need stone and timber. So he jangled purses all over Mainspring, getting investors to front claims on anything. Thing is, all the bankers back home know that this is... And the Sun King can revoke those claims at any time. That's why he's desperate for the magistrate to sign off on a concession decree.
This concession decree.
It's pig diddle, that's what.
A writ that would put all Osram claims in the Daunt under Osram law, even though they're on Karja land. It would mean that any existing ore, stone, and timber claims couldn't be revoked by the Karja. No more risk, no more hesitation for investors back in the claim to pour in the shards and expand their business. And since Olvind has a stake in all those claims, it would make him richer than a scrapper in a junk heap. Not to mention Chainscrape would become an Osram municipality, so he could buy enough votes to call himself an Elderman. He's a sly old badger, I'll give him that. Figures if he keeps up the pressure, eventually the magistrate will sign.
I thought you'd be back in Freeheap.
Well, after the big battle at Meridian, I went back, but realized it was running smooth. Didn't need me. Heard about the rebuilding out at Barren Light. Figured they could use another hammer. Been scraping by ever since.
You could always leave.
And go back east? Nah. I ain't one. Besides, someone's gotta be a squeaky.
So the bristlebacks in the Daunt. Where did they come from?
They just showed up one day, rampaging around the valley like they exploded out of a forge. Lost some good people. But I heard talk of some vanguards trying to take them down.
Did they come through here?
Stopped by briefly for supplies. Olvind was none too pleased. Won't be able to crank it to his advantage once the bristlebacks are gone.
But how could bristlebacks and the Daunt help Olvind?
2 words. Concession decree. Since no one knows where the bristlebacks came from, Olvind has taken to blaming the Karja for them. He's hoping to dig up enough old resentments to get a strike going until the concession's signed. This is just his latest attempt. He's been trying to rile up the workers since the day he rolled into town.
And people actually believe him?
Lots of folks suffered at the hands of the Mad King during the Red Raids. Give him half a reason, they'll blame the Karja for anything.
Damn Karja slavers.
Well, I have to be going. Thanks for the drink, Petra. I'm glad I stopped by.
Anytime, Flamehair.
To revel in some strikes?
I was just passing.
First timer, huh?
No.
Well, aren't you? I got an extra set. A Tanakh. Sit. I'll run you through. I'll give you something special if you... All right, let's start off simple. The Tanakh like to say that Machine Strike is a game of pure strategy. We each get a set of pieces. Each piece represents a kind of machine, and each machine is worth a different number of victory points. And to win the game, you'll need to gain 7 victory points by destroying the opponent's machines. It can be tricky remembering the details of every machine, so we use these notes to keep track of them. You see that number on the top right corner? That there is how many victory points you'll get for destroying that machine. Notes also tell you how far a piece can move, how powerful their attacks are, the distance they can strike from, and of course, their health. Okay, that's enough for now. Let's just play. I'll explain the rest as we go. I own the board, so I get to choose who goes first. Since this is your first time, I'll let you go. Usually you get to choose which pieces to set on the board, but this will do for now. Pick up that machine piece to your right, and move it forward. And remember, each machine can only move a certain distance. Take a look at your notes if you need a reminder. Move that machine forward. It's all part of the learning process. Gotta move that machine forward. Easy enough, huh? Perfect. There's not much else to do for now, so just end your turn. We're forging onwards. Let me move my pieces here. And we're back to you. This time, why don't you try attacking one of my pieces? Try with that machine on your right first. Now move the piece. When performing an attack, you'll be testing your machine's combat power against the opponent's. A machine's combat power is a combination of the terrain your machine is standing on and its own attack power. This board only has grassland terrain, which has no effect on a machine's combat power. And your current machine has 2 points of attack power. So in total, your machine's combat power equals 2 points. Since my machine isn't the one attacking, it has 0 points of attack power. And just like your machine, it's not affected by grassland terrain. So right now, the difference in combat power between the two machines is 2 points. This means your machine can do 2 points of damage to my machine. Did you get all that? Knew you were a smart one. Finish up by attacking my machine. Not pulling any punches, huh? Now your machine can't move close enough to attack mine? You can make your machine sprint. That lets it move 1 space further. Try it out. If you sprint, you'll be able to reach my machine. Downside to sprinting is that your machine can no longer attack. Now, some players like to take a risk and overcharge their machine in cases like this. Overcharging lets you attack after a sprint, but it will damage your machine's health by 2 points. So use at your own discretion. Let's try doing that now so you can see what I mean. That's about it for your turn, then. Now, I'll let you in on a neat trick. That machine of yours, the one closest to me, grab a hold of it. Same as in the wilds, machines have both armored points and weak points. You can see them marked on the pieces. Blue shows where their armor is thickest. Hit them there, and you'll do some damage, but not a lot. Now, red shows the machine's weak points. Hit those, and you'll deal a mighty blow. Here, let me show you. Rotate that piece so your machine faces mine. Now let that machine have it. Off the board she goes, and there's your first victory points. You don't have 7 of them yet, so let's keep going. Your machine attacked mine, but hasn't moved yet. Go ahead and move downwards towards my remaining piece. You've already attacked a machine and moved your piece. But if you overcharge your machine, you can attack a second time. And by the look of your machine's health, you'd be sacrificing your piece to defeat mine. But sometimes, that can be a good thing. Overcharge your machine to attack mine a second time, and I'll show you what I mean. Ain't that a thrill? Now, because your machine was knocked out at the same time as mine, we both get the victory points our machines are worth. Good news is, since you're the one attacking, you're gonna receive your victory points before I do. Which means you can reach the coveted 7 victory points first. That's why sometimes losing a piece can be the best way to end a game in your favor. Now, you'll notice you didn't get quite up to 7 victory points this time, but you did destroy all my pieces. That means that wasn't so hard, was it? Just remember to always check for the best terrain to attack from. You'd be surprised the advantage you... I know it saved my behind in a game or two.
I'll try and remember that.
Oh, before I forget. These are all my spare pieces. I want the Savior of Meridian to have them. It's a small set to be sure, but it should be... You might even fancy looking out for them strike carvers. They've got all kinds of unique pieces, though they'll need the right materials to craft you one. Or you might find them in the wilds if you're lucky. You know, I've lost my fair share of pieces after a night of machine hunting or brew hopping. No need to thank me. Always a pleasure to help out. Now, if you feel like playing a real game, I could even teach you a few more tricks if you're up for it.
Thanks. I'll...
Don't be a stranger.
Machine's on to me.
Steel to steel!
I'm not giving up. Soon enough.